April 16th, 1943, 0540 a.m. near Maloarkhangelsk, Soviet Union. A pale sun climbs slowly beyond the ridge, melting frost that clings to the pitted earth. Smoke from distant campfires hangs low, drifting across a battlefield that has not yet begun. Shallow craters cover the landscape like scars, reminders of the long, bitter winter battles that have only recently ended. On a quiet hilltop, a Soviet sentry from the 13th Army raises his binoculars. The wind bites his face as he scans the horizon. Through the morning haze, movement appears. Columns of silhouettes, supply trucks, fuel wagons, armored vehicles inching into position far beyond artillery range. The Germans are returning. The soldier lowers the binoculars slowly. He doesn't need confirmation. Every man on this front has sensed it. A great blow is coming. The only unknown is when, and how terrible it will be. The land beneath his boots, shaped into a bulge around the city of Kursk, will soon become the arena for the largest tank battle in the history of warfare. The quiet dawn is a lie. The firestorm is coming. The shadow of Stalingrad. Only months earlier, the German 6th Army vanished inside the ruins of Stalingrad. It was more than a defeat. It shattered the myth of Hitler's unstoppable war machine. Yet even as the Eastern Front bled and buckled, the German High Command refused to give up the initiative. Hitler demanded a single, decisive victory, something that would erase Stalingrad and force the Red Army back onto the defensive. Then, on the map, a target appeared. A massive Soviet-held bulge around Kursk, 160 miles wide, 100 miles deep. If German forces could strike from both north and south, they believed they could encircle entire Soviet armies in one colossal pincer. Hitler saw opportunity. His generals saw disaster. But his word was final. A new offensive was ordered. Its name, Operation Citadel. The German build-up Germany prepared for Kursk with enormous determination. Hitler gathered elite armored divisions from across Europe. Workshops hammered day and night to repair tanks battered by the winter retreat. Engineers tested new machines, Panthers, Tigers, Ferdinands, designed to rip through Soviet lines. By July, the Germans had assembled nearly 1 million troops, about 3,000 tanks and assault guns, over 2,000 aircraft. The plan depended on speed. Classic blitzkrieg. German armor would smash through the Soviet defenses before reinforcements could arrive. But the one thing blitzkrieg relied on, surprise, was already gone. The Soviet intelligence advantage. For the first time in the war, Soviet intelligence had near-perfect insight into German planning. Through intercepted messages, reconnaissance flights, partisan reports, and even whispers gathered in occupied villages, they pieced together the timing, direction, and scale of the German attack. Some intelligence came from mysterious sources like the Lucy network in Switzerland. Some came from broken codes, some from German overconfidence. Stalin knew everything. And unlike early in the war, he listened to his generals. Marshal Georgy Zhukov and General Alexander Vasilevsky designed a defense not meant to stop the German attack immediately, but to crush it through attrition. What followed was one of the greatest defensive preparations ever attempted. The fortress of Kursk. For months, the Red Army turned the Kursk salient into a layered maze of death. It became deeper and more complex than even the defenses around Moscow. Across the region, Soviet soldiers, civilians, women's brigades, and engineering units dug relentlessly. Day and night, shovels struck soil, mines were buried, trenches carved, and artillery positions reinforced. By July, the Kursk line had become 8 belts of defensive fortifications, millions of mines laid across the front, thousands of kilometers of trenches, hidden tank emplacements, camouflaged gun batteries, massive anti-tank zones. Behind these defenses waited an enormous reserve force. 3 Soviet fronts with more than 1 million men, over 3,300 tanks, 20,000 guns, and thousands of aircraft. The Soviet plan was simple. Let the Germans come. Let them bleed. then destroy them with overwhelming force. A tense, waiting summer. Late June 1943 became a season of dread. On the German side of the line, villages and forests filled with heavy armour disguised beneath thick camouflage nets. Mechanics lay under Panther hulls with oil-stained hands, rushing to fix engines overheating before the battle even began. Tiger crews trained in final gunnery drills. Artillery teams rehearsed their opening barrages. German soldiers whispered about the coming offensive. Some believed this attack would restore the Wehrmacht's supremacy. Others feared it would be their last. Across no man's land, the Soviet side prepared in equal silence. Artillery gunners slept beside their weapons. Tank crews warmed their engines every night. Infantrymen, some barely 18, wrote letters home knowing many would not survive the week. Everyone on both sides knew the same truth. Once the attack began, neither army would leave Kursk unchanged. Hitler's final delay. What saved the Soviets more than trenches or mines was time. Hitler postponed Operation Citadel again and again, waiting for new tanks, new technology, new promises from his engineers. The Panthers weren't ready. The Ferdinands had mechanical issues. Tiger units arrived late. Every delay gave the Red Army more hours to dig, more chances to reinforce, more time to turn the Kursk salient into a fortress. By late June, German generals pleaded with Hitler. Every day strengthens the Russians. Hitler finally chose a date. There would be no more hesitation. The attack would begin on July 5, 1943, the night before the storm. July 4th was unnaturally still. The air smelled of dust and warm oil. German searchlights flickered along tree lines as aircraft crews prepared for the next morning's assault. Tank commanders climbed into their hatchways, staring across fields they would soon charge through. But the Soviets were watching. Their reconnaissance caught the preparations. In response, the Red Air Force launched a surprise night strike. Il-2 Sturmovix and P-2 bombers roared through darkness. German flak exploded in bright bursts, lighting up the sky like a violent fireworks display. It was only a prelude, chaotic, brief, and terrifying. At dawn, the real battle would begin. A battle the world would remember not in maps or strategies, but in fire, steel, and unimaginable sacrifice.